Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman. JC, back in the hot seat.
Again, I know.
I love it.
Every time it feels like the first time.
It's like coming back home.
I know.
And you forgot how great your bed was.
Why? It is like that. It is like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate each and every guest that we have on because they bring a new dynamic.
Absolutely.
But you and I together,
yes, it's the chemistry, man.
I mean, this is the show we're going to take on the road.
Correct.
We can't take the guest appearances on the road.
But we can take each other.
You know what? Maybe Kyle and Christy.
Okay.
Maybe they seem cool enough.
Yeah.
And what they do correlates to what we do, that possibly we could do like a road show.
Okay.
Right?
There you go. Hey, you put it in the universe, so.
I put it out there. It may happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this out there.
Okay.
I'm wearing my Get Shit Done hat.
Wow, I see that. By the way, look at that. Look into the camera. Show the folks.
Look at
branded
the swag.
gear.
Look at the swag
Damn.
that this guy brought into the
light
office
drip.
last
It's
week.
just light drip. Light
We got T-shirts. I have hats in camo.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And then the back of the hat.
Oh, you got to show them.
How I do this? Pull it off. I can't.
You can't pull off. It's just,
I'm trying to turn around.
I'll do it in post.
Turn around. Do
yeah.
do
Damn.
a post. Can you see
Don't
that?
let the name fool you, folks.
Yeah. Don't let the name fool you. Loan Officer Podcast. But so I don't normally rock a flat
bill fitted hat.
I don't. Nor do I do it over one ear. But for this show, I'm fired up.
Yes.
And this is an ass-kicking show we're getting ready to produce.
Okay.
It needed something different, something new, something that's out of the ordinary. The hat.
The hat sets it
The
off.
hat it is.
Yes.
Yep. Flipping homes. What do you know about flipping a house?
I know that if you watch HGTV and you have $20,000, you can buy a dilapidated property and in 3 months
lose all your money.
Okay.
Yeah, no, or you could make a lot of money. I don't know how you would do it with 20 grand. But you and I have done a show previously talking about investment properties, but we talked about investment properties as it pertained to wealth creation. When you buy that property in your individual name, that would be John Coleman going out, finding a property that he intends to rent full time, but you buy it in the name of John Coleman. It probably doesn't need repairs, and you're going to slide a renter into it 24/7, 365, in the hopes that in 15, 20 years, your renter helps you pay this home off so that when you go to retire, you have this property that's worth X amount of dollars that you own free and clear that is producing Y, in Y meaning the letter Y, not the word Y, but that produces a certain amount of monthly passive income. We did that show. Okay. But people want to know because it's sexy, because it's the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
Hey, D.O., hey, Coleman, why don't you do a show about flipping homes?
Yeah, why didn't you? Yeah, because, I want to flip some homes.
Okay, so look, I know a little bit about this.
You do?
A little bit about this, okay? So let's go ahead and riff on it.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about flipping homes for profit.
Flipping homes for profit.
Yep, so typically this is what this entails. You're not buying this home in your personal name. So step one, form an LLC. A limited liability corporation.
Really? That's the first step?
Yeah, first step. It's like, I don't know, $100, $200 to do. Takes you a couple hours. You go get yourself an EIN, which is like your tax ID number for a business. Form an LLC. That way, when you purchase these homes, you're buying it in the company's name, not in your personal name. So that you are separating a little bit of church and state from a liability standpoint, right?
Okay.
That's the first thing you're going to want to do. Now, the second thing, and I want everyone to know this because you can make a lot of money flipping homes. I know people who make a lot of money flipping homes. I also know, like any business, it has its cycles. It has its runs. It's currently not very easy to successfully and consistently buy and sell homes for a profit. And do you know why that is?
The market?
Yeah, the market. Right now, literally put a for sale sign in a yard and the home is selling.
Yeah.
Right? In average to below average conditions. So because of that, there's not a plethora of homes to be purchased. There are more people who want to buy than there are willing to sell. And those that do want to sell, because of that, it's pretty easy to get a home bid up. By bid up, meaning the what people are willing to offer continues to increase based on the demand coming in. Do you know where someone makes their money when you're flipping homes? Where's the money made?
The money is made after you do the renovations and up the sale price? The value?
Nope. The money is made when you buy it.
Say that.
Yeah. So when you're flipping homes, the money is made when you buy the home, not when you sell the home.
Explain.
Okay. When you buy the home, did you buy it right or did you buy it wrong?
Most likely, I think, buy it wrong.
Well, if you bought it wrong, then you're going to lose money.
Okay.
Okay. The definition of profit is the money that's left over when you compare what you acquired something for versus what you sold it for.
Correct.
Now, you have carrying costs and you have cost to improvement when you're talking about flipping a home. But if you buy a home right, you'll always make money.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to buy homes right when there is such a scarcity of homes on the market. You end up a lot of times buying homes wrong. You buy a home wrong, you can lose money. But let's spend some time talking about the basics of buying property for the pure purpose of flipping it for a quick profit. To where if you can do this 6, 8, 12 times a year, you can make $120,000, $160,000, $180,000, $250,000.
Do most of the people, before we get started, the people that you know that flip homes, do they do this as a side hustle, as part of like a secondary income, or do some people do this full time all the time?
In my limited circle, I'd probably say it's about 80-20. 80% do it full time.
Okay.
There are 20% who do it as a side hustle.
Okay.
But those side hustlers are already in the industry.
Gotcha.
Okay. Most of the people that side hustle, they're already real estate agents or they're married to a real estate agent. So it's not like they're depending on flipping homes to be their primary source of income.
Okay.
But because they're already in the field of marketing and selling properties, if and when they come across a property, they will cherry pick it and they will buy that themselves. They have an inside track.
Yeah.
That inside track allows them to side hustle it. Most people who do it well, it's their full-time gig. And that's almost anything in life. Like, it's a big firm belief of mine. Like, if you're going to be a loan officer, be a full-time loan officer. If you're going to be a realtor, be a full-time realtor. If you're going to be an insurance agent, be a full-time insurance agent. So many times people are like, oh, well, I do X profession Monday through Friday, and I sell real estate on the side, and I do loans on the side, and I do insurance on the side. It's like, okay, but like as a consumer, I don't know if I particularly want to use someone who is their side hustle. No, nothing wrong with that, right? Because many episodes we talk about, go get yourself a side hustle.
Yeah.
But just, I guess food for thought.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you are deciding that you want to flip real estate for a living to make money, there's 3 things you need to sit down and ask yourself.
Okay.
First one, A, do I have time? Do I have time to dedicate to this? How much time do I have? How much time am I going to put into it? More importantly, or equally as importantly, what is my staying power? How much time do I have to dedicate to this? Because there's going to be a ramp up period where maybe I don't make any money for 3, 6, 9 months. Maybe I have to invest money those first 3, 6, and 9 months, but I don't have any purchases and therefore sales to show. Do you have time? Time to dedicate to it and staying power. Second part is, do I have money?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about staying power. Well, most times in life, it takes money to make money. And when I say it takes money, like, yes, you're going to need money to purchase these homes. Although there's financing available, and I will talk about that in about 5 or 10 minutes, you still need money for down payment. You still need money for deposits. You still need money for advertising. Like, there's a certain dollar amount you just have to have. On top of that, you need that staying power money. Do you have enough money saved that you are okay not making any money for at least 6, but preferably 9 months? So do you have 6 to 9 months of your lifestyle in reserve so that that you can afford to starve those first 6 or 9 months? So the first thing you needed was time. Second thing is money. Third thing, know-how. Know-how.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to do something and be successful at it, you kind of have to have some knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to have time to dedicate to it and money to invest in it. If you don't have those 3 things, then you probably need a P.
What's a plan?
Partner.
Damn it.
A partner.
Okay.
Right? Can you and someone else that you trust, look, you don't have to like the person. You have to trust them. Do you trust them to put in as much effort as you? Do you trust them not to screw you? Do you trust them to do the right thing always? And are you all on similar thought processes for your goals for this business? Well, if two of you can come together and collectively have the time, the money, and the know-how, you're good to go. Because what if you're a time and money person, but you're not a know-how person? There very well could be a know-how person out there who doesn't have time or money.
That
Okay?
makes sense, yeah.
Yep. So, but you need those three things. That's just getting started. We talked about the LLC, and we talked about the know-how, we talked about the time, we talked about the money.
Yeah.
But what does it really mean? And we also talked about the most important thing, which is you make money when you buy the home. All right. So let's talk about, how do you find the home? You want to flip a house. First thing you have to do is go find a house that wants to be flipped.
Yeah. I go to Google and then I slide down the parameters of the cost all the way down and see what pops up because it's cheap. And then I can buy it and it's dilapidated and then I'll put money on it just like they do on TV and then I can triple charge the price. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not even close. I didn't even understand half of what you said. You lost me. But I can tell you this much. It
doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work that. So you're not going to find the home on Zillow. You're not going to find the home on Realtor.com. You're not going to find the home on Redfin. You're not going to find the home online. If a home is listed online, especially in today's market, that home is going to sell at or close to appraised value. When you are flipping a home, when you're purchasing that home for the sole purpose of making a profit, we have this thing that's called ARV, after repair value. After repair value. What is the home going to be worth once you have fixed it up? Well, when you buy the home, you want to buy between a 60% and a 70% ARV, or 60% to 70% after repair value. So if I looked at a home and its after repair value was, for all intents and purposes in easy math, $200,000, I want to be able to pick this home up for $120,000 to $140,000. That's 60 to 70% of after repair value. If I'm looking for homes online, Realtor.com, Zillow, etc., even if the home after repair value was $200,000, I'm probably going to pick this thing up for $190,000 if I'm buying it through that medium.
Why is that the case?
Well, because homes that are listed are probably move-in condition. And in today's market, no one is desperate to sell. Things are selling for top value and then some. So the trick, if you want to be good at this, is you have to find a way to get to the homeowner to find the properties that don't even meet the standards of Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com. Those homes that if a real estate agent walked into it, unless they themselves were either A home flipper, which some are, B, connected to a group of investors, which many are, the others, they don't even want to list it. They look at that home and maybe it has foundation cracks. Maybe there's a tree growing through it. Maybe there's a blue tarp on the roof. Maybe the kitchen hasn't been updated since 1956. Maybe the front and backyard look like a junkyard.
Literally.
I know. That many appliances and barrels and potted plants are littered throughout the front and backyard.
Yeah.
So you make your money when you buy the home, but you have to find out, where do you buy them?
But I've already learned so much, I'm serious, in these first 10 minutes, because the steps I laid out were literally how me and my friends would do it. Go online, see what's cheap, move the slider down, it's hella cheap, looks like it's in a bad neighborhood, buy it up. And you're telling me, no, don't do that, because then how would you find
Well, no, you can do it, but look, there is nothing wrong. If you want to run a marathon and you told me you trained every day by doing skips and walking backwards, I might look at you funny, but you can eventually finish a marathon by skipping and walking backwards. It's just a little bit asinine to do it.
Gotcha.
All I'm saying is that if you go online right now, you're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be looking at a bunch of homes that you're like, all right, we can make money as long as we can get it for $150. It's listed for $190. It's going to sell for $192. There's a reason why the home's already listed through the multiple listing service, the MLS. There's a reason why there's a Keller Williams or an EXP or a RE/MAX sign already in the front yard, because someone has already determined that this home will sell for that price.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to do this and do this well, you have to get to the homes that either A, nobody wants, therefore there isn't a market for them. They're so in disrepair that you have eliminated 90 to 95% of all potential buyers. Because here's something that I learned working at Waterstone Mortgage. We can't finance properties that are in disrepair. Now, there are loan programs like rehab loans. There's a home style renovation. There's a FHA 203K. There are loan programs that do allow for renovation. But most lenders don't do many of them, and when they do them, they don't do them well.
Okay.
It's not a loan program that is just like, oh, it's so easy. Everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
No. Most times if a home is in total disrepair, then you're eliminating a large swath of potential buyers. You have to find that home. You want to be the first person to meet with that seller and give them your offer. How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah, that's the trick. That is the trick. It's almost in any business. Whoever can bring the business in makes the money.
Yeah.
So after you've done your LLC,
Yeah.
after you've gone through, do I have the three things that are needed, then your focus needs to turn to, well, how can I purchase this home?
Yeah.
Now, there are auction sites that you can look into, right? I think Hubzu is an auction site. There are wholesalers out there. So there are companies that their business model is one in which they have figured out the how to. They have figured out how to find the properties, and they figured out it's such a large scale that they have so many homes coming in that they're acquiring that they'll still sell it to you for a small markup. So maybe a wholesaler was able to purchase a home for 60% ARV, and they're willing to sell it to you for 70% ARV. So that $200,000 house, they purchased it for $120,000. They figured it out, like how to get to the home. They'll turn around and sell it to you for $130,000, $140,000. So there's a slight markup because they went out and found the property.
Yeah.
But there may be room for you and your partners to make some money.
Okay.
But the wholesaler made their money.
Yeah.
They got there.
Yeah.
Their 10 or their 20 grand, they got it.
Got it, yeah.
And sometimes what's risky about buying it from a wholesaler, especially in today's market, is that 10 or 20 grand, that was all the profit that was in there.
Yeah, that's what they sucked it out already.
Yeah, because once you get into a rehab, here's what you'll realize. You're going to make mistakes, just like anything in life.
Yeah.
Right? This is your first time rehabbing a home. Do you know what you're doing?
No, I'm just going to tear up the carpet and hope there's nice, pretty hardwood floors I can restain.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you may have done that you thought were right, but just like in life, something's going to go sideways. Like, have you ever tried to change your own oil? Or have you ever tried to assemble IKEA furniture? Have you ever tried to assemble a ceiling fan?
Yeah, no.
Like, no, no, I don't even try that.
No.
Well, I mean, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. You can get it done, but nothing ever goes right. You don't have the right tool. You have to go to Home Depot, buy the new tool. Like, well, the same thing goes when you're flipping a home. Something is there's going to be cost overrun, right? I have friends who when they flip their first house, they budgeted in. It's a difficult word for me today.
Budgeted in, yeah.
They budgeted in
Yeah.
one dumpster.
Okay, like the dumpster they leave out in front of the house.
Yeah. The home needed 7. At $300 a load, that was $2,100 that they didn't factor into their budget.
Yeah.
You know what else they didn't budget in? The home had aluminum wiring. Well, I didn't know this until they explained it to me, and they didn't know this until they got into it. Yeah, a lot of home buyers don't want to buy a home and pay top dollar for it.
Yeah.
That has aluminum wiring. They had to have the house rewired. That was $7,000. These are mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? These are mistakes. These are things that they weren't anticipating because they didn't have experience.
That adds up, though.
Yeah, that definitely adds up. This is why it's like you need to have someone who knows what they're doing or join a network where they know what they're doing. So anyhow, back on finding the properties. So auction sites are a way to go. Wholesalers, way to go. But keep in mind that it's still all about how you buy the property. Even if you're buying it from an auction site, you're buying it from a wholesaler, you make your money when you buy it.
Yeah.
And I've seen this too many times in general in business. People get antsy. They had this like determination. I'm going to buy my first property before the end of the year.
Yes.
That's stupid. No. I'm going to buy my first property as soon as a property comes across my desk that fits my formula. That's what they should be saying. Instead, and I've been prone to do this my whole life. I'm going to do this by 25. I'm going to do this by 30. You end up making bad decisions because you set a goal based on a timetable that you don't have control over. So I'm going to buy a home should only be that sentence should only be ended with the minute something comes in that matches my formula. Whether that's buying it through wholesalers, because you can call around your market and you can get on every wholesaler's list. But just word of caution, you may have to scrub through 100 properties and you may not find one that fits your formula.
Damn.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, but that home sold so quick and this home sold and this investor came and outbid me. Well, look, someone else's bad decision doesn't need to be your bad decision, right? If someone else wants to take a risk at which point they could lose 3, 5, or 7 grand, let them. You have your formula. Stick to it, especially when you're a novice, especially when you're getting started, right? Because that person who maybe outbid you, maybe they're so seasoned that they may be at a point that they sometimes have to purchase properties just to keep their crews busy, right? To them, it's a volume game. Maybe they buy 7, 8 homes a month. They only need to make money on 4 of them, but they have to keep enough homes going through the system to keep their staff employed.
Yeah.
You don't know other people's situations. You only know your own, so stick to it. Here's another place you can find a property. You can go to the auction house, right? Homes that are foreclosed on are typically auctioned. Buyer beware. You've never owned purchased a home from an auction.
Yeah, what is that like?
Everyone else there has. They smell new. They see green. They see you're wet behind the ears.
Is it like, well, in one house, is it like that kind of auction? Like, and sold.
Never been. My guess is no. My guess is that when you go there, you typically have an attorney who's representing the bank and the bank that has foreclosed on it.
Damn, that just sounds intimidating already.
Then you have a judge, and that attorney knows how much the bank is willing to bid in order to win that property back, and then how much they're willing to say, yep, we're not willing to bid that high, and then let an investor come in and buy it.
Okay.
And it'd probably be more of like a Sotheby's auction, which they don't do the whole hibida. Theirs is very much proper and posh. That would be my understanding.
Okay.
Yep. I'd have to talk to my buddy Jason Ware.
Okay.
My buddy Jason Ware owns a Home Investors franchise. Home Investors is WeBuyUglyHouses.com.
Okay, yeah.
So if I reached out to Jason, I'm sure he could answer that question. And speaking of finding properties, that was what Jason did. So Jason's like, he went to the auction for like 3 or 4 months. And Jason decided, you know what? I think I'm going to go join a franchise that I can advertise through the franchise. That's the benefit of being a franchise owner. And then Jason, money, it takes money to make money, invest a certain dollar amount, 3 grand, 5 grand, 15 grand a month. And the cohort of franchise owners in his market, they then send mailers out. They buy billboards. In certain markets, they do TV advertising or radio advertising or Google pay-per-clicks.
Yeah.
They're marketing basically to people that, hey, if you have an ugly home,
we'll buy it from you.
We'll buy it from you, right? That's they're saying. UGG buys ugly homes.
Yeah.
But for someone wanting to enter the business, that was an avenue that he took.
Gotcha.
But he recognized and realized that the hardest part is not in getting your hands dirty and doing the rehab.
It's like finding them.
You have to find the property. How are you going to find a property? Now, you can drive for dollars, right? You can drive your whole entire market. Look for homes that the grass is really high, the windows are boarded up, the roof has a blue tarp on it.
Yeah.
There's certain services you can subscribe to that will allow you to scrub to see, well, this home has equity and it has an absentee owner, meaning the owner doesn't live in the home full time and it has equity. Well, maybe I've read or watched a YouTube video that states that those are the types of sellers that are more willing to sell. So maybe I send them a handwritten thank you note. Maybe I send them a flyer. Maybe, like you can advertise and market to them.
Gotcha.
There's also skip trace services where while you're driving for dollars, you can also write down their address, go home, reverse look up, and then you could cold call them.
Okay.
Like, hey, I was in your neighborhood. I saw you have a home. Curious, are you willing to sell it? Are you looking to sell it?
So really like guerrilla tactics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going to make your money by finding the property. Because when you find the property and you're the first person to speak with the seller, you cut out wholesalers, you cut out the whole auction process. Because you can get burned at the auction. Just period, end of story. Is it a viable place to purchase properties for investment purposes? Yes. Is it harder today than it was 7 or 11 years ago? Hell to the yes. And if you go in there as a novice, is there a good chance that some of those good old boys and girls who've been doing this for a lot longer than you've been alive, that they're not going to smell your newness and stick it to you? Yeah, they're competitors. Yeah. Of course they want to do that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a little bit of a dog-eat-dog world out there. So that's that step. Yeah. Now, how about this? You mentioned you were going to buy one for $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, how?
I don't know. I just saw an advertisement that says you can buy and flip this home with no money down.
Sure, and I have a pet rock to sell you. Yeah, $9.99. Doesn't need to go outside, doesn't need food, doesn't need water, and I'll let you name it.
Savage.
Plus shipping and handling.
Let's go.
You remember that? Plus shipping and handling.
Yes.
It's like Amazon Prime
shipping
came in. It was like
handling.
Yeah. Amazon Prime's like, huh?
What's that?
Yeah.
Free.
Don't get it.
Yeah.
No. It's like most things in life. I'm sure they have that one outlier that stands up and was like, oh my God, because of this system, I'm out of debt and I'm living this lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
Most people, it's like they paid their $699 to go to the weekend seminar. Yeah. They spent the $1,200 on the software and crickets. Yeah. No. If you're going to buy a home, you either need cash or you need to get a hard money, also known as a private loan. Okay, you're not going to go to your local bank, your local lender. You're not going to Waterstone Mortgage or FBC or Movement or any of these other mortgage companies. You are going to have to go to a hard money lender who is going to only lend you, based on the ARV, a certain percentage. Okay. And normally, based on your experience and based on your net worth, it's going to be somewhere between 60 and 70% of the ARV. Well, if you're buying for 60 to 70% of the ARV, okay, cool. If you're lucky and you qualify, they're going to give you a loan enough to buy the home.
Yeah, but what about all the other stuff that you need to like fix it up?
Yeah, and maybe that's where people advertise for $20,000.
Yeah, okay.
You know, maybe that's where they advertise. And maybe those systems have hard money lenders they'll put you in contact with, et cetera, et cetera. But if you just keep in mind, $20,000 is like the average cost of a renovation. Yeah, it's not a full on reno, right? That's like a lipstick. That's like hey, we're gonna get in, do new appliances, new flooring, paint the cabinets white. Okay. You're gonna make it look polished.
Gotcha.
I call it putting lipstick on a pig. Yeah. You're putting lipstick on a pig right there. But just keep in mind when you finance utilizing hard money, you're not getting a 30-year fixed at 3 or 4%. You're getting a loan that's typically only 9 months. So after 9 months, it balloons.
What?
The payment is interest only, but it's going to balloon after 9 months, meaning you're going to owe all of the money. So if you don't get this home fixed up and sold, you have to figure something out with your lender. Either pay them back in full, or maybe they'll extend it 9 months for you, and your interest rate's closer to like 9%. Oh, and by the way, you paid points. You know what points are? Points are a percentage of your loan amount. Typically, if you're refinancing today your primary home, you're at 3% no points. This loan is 3 times that percentage, right? It's 9%. Yeah. And it's usually about 3 points. So that $120,000 you borrowed, you have to pay 3 points on $120,000 is $3,600. Yeah. So your $3,600 in points plus the 9% interest is what you have to pay.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, but these companies are doing something that no one else would do. They're letting you buy a home that's in disrepair so that you can fix it up and sell it for a profit.
Okay.
Now, here are some ways to work around that.
Okay. Maybe
you do have a home that's your primary. In fact, you should have a home that's your primary. Yeah. And you have substantial equity. Why not leverage some of the equity you have in your current home to use in this real estate investment business?
You can do that?
Yeah, why not go get a home equity line of credit on your home? Let's say you and your wife own a home. It's worth $400,000. You owe $250 on it. Okay. You should be able to go to most banks and credit unions, and at a minimum, they'll give you what we call a combined loan to value of 80%. So your $400,000 home combined loan to value is $320,000. So $320,000 I said you owe $250. The difference between $320 and $250 is $70,000. You could go get a $70,000 line of credit and use that $70,000 line of credit to help you buy some homes.
Okay.
So maybe you would combine your hard money loan with your $70,000. So if you had $20,000 of your own money, keep it because you're going to need it for other things in life.
Yeah.
Take the $70,000 that you have in this scenario for your home equity. Some people might have $250,000. Some people may have $1 million, right? Some people might not have a whole lot in their home equity, at which point they have to pivot and do something different. But in your case, to use you as an example, you could potentially go get that hard money loan that would allow you to purchase the home, and then your $70,000 is what you would use to either advertise or market yourself to acquire properties, and also what you would use to make sure that you paid that hard money loan while you rehabbed it. You paid for the rehab and then hopefully sold for a profit. Something else you can do, some people who go into this business, maybe it's their second career. So as their second career, maybe they work 30, 35 years doing something else. They have a decent little nest egg. Let's say they have $1 million or $1.5 million saved, which is a lot of money. But considering someone who maybe spent 30 to 35 years as a CPA or as an engineer, maybe, that's reasonable, utilizing compound interest and saving 10% to 20% a year. That person could do what's called a leveraged line of credit with their financial advisor. So that would be where they would go to their financial advisor at whatever investment bank that they utilize, and they would say, hey, Mr. Coleman, I see here you have $1.25 million. Understand you want to launch a real estate investment business, and you're looking to use some of this money to pay cash, quote unquote cash, for your home purchases. Instead of you liquidating, selling a portion of this $1.2 million, what if we used your $1.2 million as collateral, and we'll give you a line of credit that your assets are pledged against this line of credit? It's a tactic to where your money gets to stay invested with your advisor in the market, and then you're also getting a loan, using your assets as collateral, paying interest on that loan. The goal is if your advisor is earning you 6 to 9% annually, and your rate is 2 to 3%, there's an arbitrage there. You're still picking up 4 to 6% interest. You're using your own money to go out and make cash offers on real estate, so that if you bought it right, you're going to be able to buy the home, repair it, then turn around and sell it for a profit.
That sounds smart as hell.
So the point of sharing that is just know there are avenues, but it's like anything. You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to be a real estate investor.
I know, right?
I mean, you just don't. I mean, you need to have ramp up money. You need to have time to dedicate to this, whether it's to go on what they call buy calls. A buy call is when you sit down with a seller and you discuss with the seller what the home is worth. You discuss with the seller what you're willing to offer. You figure out why the seller's looking to sell. You tour the home and figure out what its deficiencies are. And then let me ask you this. How do you know how to value a home?
I don't. I would just pay someone to come in and appraise it for me.
Okay. So before you go and buy a home, you're going to spend $400 on an appraisal.
Jesus. More money out the window.
Yeah. Or you can learn how to value a home.
Okay.
But where do you go for that?
YouTube, the internet?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. That's also why people like my friend Jason joined up with Homevestors, right? He did it because they offer training. They have resources. He has a mentor. Like, are franchises cheap though? Hell to the no. They're expensive, right? You have to pay a franchise fee to just get started.
To get started.
Right? And then the franchise is going to take a percentage of your sales. That's how franchises work, whether it's McDonald's, Taco Bell, Starbucks, or Homevestors. I mean, it's a business model that is very successful. And it's like anything in life, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
He's choosing to pay in order to have a kind of business in a box.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need business in a box, but things that you should be asking yourself, I mean, look, you may be super handy, or you may be the son of someone who is super handy. Oh no, my dad's going to come in and he's going to do all of the repairs. And my mom, she's an interior decorator and she's going to do this.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But who's going to value the home? If you make your money when you buy it, how do you know with limited doubt that you're buying it right? How do you know that after you do X, Y, and Z repairs, you're going to be able to sell it for Z?
I don't think you do until you actually go through the motions and do it.
Yeah. So maybe one of your partners would be a real estate agent, right? Maybe you'd partner with and maybe if you had a good real estate agent in your back pocket, maybe they would do that pro bono, knowing that because you don't have your real estate license, you may very well list the homes that you go to sell with them. So there's a buy-in. But these are thoughts you should be having. If you're sitting at home thinking, hey, I'd love to be a real estate investor, you say, well, A, what type of real estate investor? Do I want to be a buy and hold and I only want to buy homes that are already in good repair? At which point, maybe you buy them in your personal name. You go back and listen to whatever episode it was that we did about 2 or 3 months ago about buying an investment property, and that's more you.
So for when you said that, because we always talk about, I think people naturally go towards like, oh, I'm going to buy a dilapidated home. Does it ever make sense to buy a home that's in pretty decent to good condition and trying to flip that? Does that make sense?
No. I don't know how. You make your money when you buy the home. How are you going to buy a home that's in good condition for a cheap enough price that you're going to be able to add your profit margin and resell it?
I don't know.
Yeah, you typically don't. Now, we don't have enough time because we could go on and on and on. As an investor, technically that's what a wholesaler does. So then you could say, I'm going to get into real estate investment full time. I'm going to buy homes to rehab and sell. I'm going to buy homes to hold, and I'm going to buy homes to wholesale. Okay. As a full-time real estate investor, you could and should be doing all three. It's like when you buy a home to hold, that's your equity in your company. That's how your company gains value. The more homes that you have under management that you own, that you are renting, right? You will see the value of your company increase as the money you owe in those homes decrease and the value of those homes increase. You can also go out there and you may find a home that you're buying on the super cheap. Like you got there, you realize that the seller really hates the home. They just need to get $100,000 out of this. And how quick can you close? And you're like, I can close you in a week. Here's your $100,000. And you bought it at such a good price that you're like, you know what? Yeah, I could do the $50,000 of rehab on this, and I could turn around and resell it for $225,000. I don't want to, for whatever reason. Maybe the home is too far of a drive. Maybe you're currently overextended. Maybe you're getting ready to go on a month-long Italian vacation, right? Vacation to Italy. And you're like, I just can't mess with this right now. Okay, you could wholesale it. There's nothing says that John Coleman can't buy that property in your LLC for $100,000 and turn around and resell it to someone else for $120,000. Let that person who bought it for $120,000 drop the $50,000 into it, and then let that person turn around and try to sell it for $225,000. So you can wholesale a property yourself. You can assign contracts. Assigning a contract would be where you bought a home, you never closed on it. You sat down with the seller agreed to sell you that home for a certain price. You wrote the contract, and for whatever reason, A, it could be your business model. B, it's because, again, the home's out of scope in terms of too far of a drive for you. Maybe you have 5 other homes that you're currently rehabbing, and a 6th one just kind of overextends you. You call me, your buddy, and you're like, hey, D.O., I'm under contract for this home. I don't even want to close on it. I'll just assign the contract to you for $5,000, for $10,000. You can assign contracts also. But we're going to keep on circling back to the one thing. You got to find the home. How do you find the home? He or she who finds the home to buy wins. As long as you're buying it right. So you want to flip a house? Cool. But make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and do not fall prey to doing it come hell or high water. Make sure that you educate yourself. You know, for the most part, what you're getting yourself into. Like, look, we don't also need in life paralysis by analysis. You can't spend years and years, well, if I just know a little bit more, if I just attended this class and watched this video. No. Know enough that you feel comfortable that you've been able to mitigate your risk. You know the pros and cons. You know a couple pitfalls to look out for, and then dive deep into it. But invest your time, invest your money. Make sure you or one of your partners has a general idea of what you're doing. You know how to value homes. You know how to get a home remodeled, fixed up, rehabbed. You know where the best bang for your buck is, or if not you have someone in your network that can help you, and have at it. But if you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. I've yet to see someone do it full time successfully when they didn't treat it like it was a full-time gig.
Wow.
So that's it. That's home flipping 101 per DO on the Loan Officer Podcast.
That was awesome. That was hella informative, man.
Was it really?
I swear.
You're looking at me a little bit of like deer in the headlights. I hope you found this episode to be educational.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't want to. My fear was coming into it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to be the fun police. I'm going to totally be the fun sucker and just pull the rug.
It's not, but I think it's a good realist because I think the only thing, at least what I look at home flipping as is whatever, like the TLC, Armando Montalongo, get in there, flip it, get your arms dirty, knock down that wall, and here we are. We sold the house. So I think people have like a misconstrued conception of what it is. And I tell you, the first 5 minutes when you're like, no, set up the LLC first, is already light years ahead of kind of where I was thinking. So,
well, look, if you guys have questions that maybe I can't answer, I can put you in contact with people that can answer them, people who do this for a living. I put on my get shit done hat. Hopefully we got some shit done today.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys found great value in what we discussed. Leave your comments. Share it if you like it. Hit us up on Instagram, on Facebook at The Loan Officer Podcast. We're on YouTube, The Loan Officer Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. That's all we have for today. He's Coleman. I'm D.O. and we're out.
Peace.